To the chosen ones of God, you are no longer living in the midst of life as you once were. You are in a spiritual moment. There is a stirring in the atmosphere of your soul, and God is breathing into it a warning that cannot be ignored. The things you once called normal are becoming unfamiliar. The things you once accepted are becoming intolerable. This is not because you are changing, but because you are being set apart. No one told you, but you are being pulled out of your comfort zone. Not because you are weak, not because you have failed, but because heaven is repositioning you for a purpose greater than anything you've ever imagined. You didn't come to this message to be soothed, comforted, or encouraged for a more pleasant day. You came here for a higher reason. You are being summoned from the spiritual realm. Not everyone hears that call, but you are different. Something in you refuses to let you remain content with the status quo. Something in you rejects continuing to live as you always have. Something, or rather, someone is calling you, whispering it is time. God doesn't need you to be perfect before He calls you. He calls you while you're still broken, still hesitant, still double-minded, but He doesn't leave you where you are. When God points to you and declares, "You are mine," no darkness in your life can hold you back anymore, not even the habits you haven't let go, the relationships you haven't severed, or the comfort zones you haven't dared to step out of. There are nights you cannot sleep soundly, not because of anything specific, but because deep within, your soul is awake. That is the wordless cry from the land you are called to. Not a geographical land, but a land of calling, of awakening, of covenant. You no longer belong to the darkness of stagnation. You are being drawn toward the light, and that is why everything is shaking. It's not because you're in the wrong place. It's because you've lingered too long in a place your soul has outgrown, and God, with His boundless mercy, is ringing the wake-up bell loudly, not to frighten you, but to remind you who you are, a chosen one, a called one, a person being pushed out of what's called safe to step into a divine reality yet unseen. When the dreams you once cherished seem distant, when the path ahead offers no familiar handholds, when your heart begins to thirst for something deeper than any achievement, that's not a crisis. It's God's invitation unfolding. Not everyone hears that call, but your soul is trembling because you've pretended to be okay in a spiritually impoverished life for too long. God won't let you drift in the slumber of compromise. He is urgently calling you back. There are things that once brought you comfort, a stable job, a family with minimal turmoil, a few milestones achieved. But God knows that beneath that veneer is a person whose spiritual vitality is fading. A person doing right things but feeling nothing. A person praying with lips but with a heart as cold as a winter's night. He doesn't blame you. He loves you so much that He cannot let you continue this way. For I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. This scripture isn't a temporary bandage for your wounds. It's a promise spoken amidst ruins, in the desert, in lands where you no longer recognize yourself. And if you're in such a place, don't be surprised. You're not lost. You're in the middle of a journey God is using to pull you out of the familiar. Whether it's the nights you wake with tear-streaked eyes for no clear reason, or the times you can only sigh instead of pray, those are wordless prayers heaven still hears. God doesn't need your prayers to be eloquent. He needs them to be real. Real enough that you dare say, "Lord, I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to live another day without your presence, Lord. If this is the last night I spend in my old, worn-out comfort zone, make it the night of a spiritual rebirth. If everything I've leaned on is crumbling, let only one thing remain, you. If I no longer have songs, words, or strength, grant me the urgency in my heart to cry out, Lord, don't let me live outside your will for one more day, like Job, who declared amidst his ruins, though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13:15. Your soul is being brought to a place where faith is no longer a concept. It's breath, no longer a choice. It's survival. And if you're in that place, you're not cursed, you're being refined. Nothing is more painful than being pulled from what once comforted you. But nothing is holier than knowing it's God's loving hand stripping away the layers that bind you, so you can live fully in the name He placed on you, chosen one. Sometimes, the greatest battles don't erupt in the outside world, but in the small room where you collapse onto your bed while the house sleeps. Those moments when you turn to the wall, curling up like a child, not because it's cold, but because your soul is so weary you don't know what to hold on to. Others may see you walking calmly, smiling, even helping them. But who knows that deep inside? You're asking God, do you still see me? A small question, but the start of a beautiful breaking. Because God isn't afraid of that question. He doesn't get angry at your doubt, your weakness, your disappointment. He's only saddened when you stop seeking. And if tonight you have just enough strength to whisper, Lord, I'm not as okay as I pretend, that's already the first step toward a soul's revival. Don't underestimate the tear that falls on your pillow. Don't despise the sobs that don't form words in the Psalms. King David said, "You have kept count of my wanderings. Put my tears in your bottle." Psalm 56:8. God doesn't let a single tear of yours fall to the ground in vain. He collects every silent sob as if they were sacred jewels. No one understands your pain like He does. And no one knows the purpose He's forging within you better than the Creator Himself. If you ever feel caught between two worlds, one side, the past you can't let go, the other, a future you don't dare dream, that's the moment you're being pulled from your comfort zone. You may not sense something grand happening, but like a woman in her early months of pregnancy, though she can't see the form, she knows life is forming within. Your soul, too, is pregnant with something heavenly, and like all pregnancies, it comes with pain. Lord, if I'm in that process, where every foundation I built is shaking, every expectation I held turns to ash, don't let this pain be in vain. Teach me to call on you amidst the unformed wreckage. Teach me to place my faith in you, not because everything is good, but because you are the good one. No matter the circumstances, may my heart soften again. May the silent pride within me bow before your light. May I no longer avoid that call, the whisper, yet fierce, inviting me to leave my worn-out shell and step into a journey where truth and holiness intersect. And if I wake tomorrow and nothing around me has changed, let at least one thing change, that I no longer resist you, though I know stepping out of my comfort zone is necessary. My soul still shrinks back, afraid. There are days I've sat in a room full of sunlight, but my heart felt trapped in a nameless cold. The things I once loved now feel empty. The people I was once close to now seem separated by an invisible wall I can't break. It's not that they've changed, it's that God is changing my heart. It no longer fits, no longer aligns, no longer belongs. A quiet unease seeps into the most stable things. Habits I once cherished now feel awkward, mechanical. The answers I used to reassure myself no longer carry weight. I'm starting to lose passion for things that once brought fame, money, or recognition. Could it be the gentle but resolute hand of God, peeling me away from a land I've lived in too long, a land that no longer bears fruit, Lord? If this is your silent work in my spirit, give me the sensitivity not to resist it. Don't let me patch up what you're trying to remove. Don't let me return to the leeks and garlic of Egypt just because I'm afraid of the desert ahead. For if I don't let go of the old, how can my hands receive the new things you're preparing, Lord? I know you don't thrust me into a meaningless void, but are clearing space for a greater filling, like a vine pruned to bear more fruit. I want my life to be more than outwardly lush. I want it to produce fruit that glorifies your name. I am the vine. You are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. John 15:5. Don't let me be a branch full of leaves, but lacking true life from you. People often say, everything will go back to normal, but I don't want to go back to normal anymore. That normal distanced me from you, lost me in habits, lulled me in ease, paralyzed me in a life without wounds, but also without signs of life. I want something truer, deeper, more enduring. I want a life where my prayers aren't just words, but a real communion between my soul and heaven. So if I must trade every comfort zone to be closer to you, Lord, take it all, even if it hurts, even if it means being misunderstood, even if it means starting from scratch. Do what must be done. So this heart belongs wholly to you, undivided, unwavering. If I'm walking on water now, like Peter in that stormy night, keep my eyes fixed on you. For if I look at the waves, I'll sink. But if I keep my gaze on you, though I don't know where I'm going, I know I'm not alone. You of little faith, why did you doubt? Matthew 14:31. Your words to Peter echo in my heart, waking me from the doubt that clings. I don't want to be someone standing on the shore, analyzing others' faith. I want to step down, to be drenched in uncertainty, to know what it's like to be held by your hand, no longer living by knowledge, but by trust. How many times have I asked, have I gone the wrong way? When what seemed like blessings became burdens, when doors once easily opened now close without warning, when faith once burned hot now cools like ashes after a fire. But Lord, If this is how you remove what's expired, don't let me cling to what you no longer bless. Not everyone understands the loneliness of being called to uncharted land. Like Abraham, leaving his homeland without knowing where he was going, following only a voice from heaven. Hebrews 11:8, I too am walking in darkness, not blindly, but trusting your light goes before me. No map, only a word, no complete plan, only faith. That's all I have left in my hands. Lord, in the days I hear nothing, see nothing, and don't know where I am, let your promise be the anchor holding my soul. Don't let me judge the present by emotions. Don't let me measure your will by circumstances. For true faith doesn't grow from ease. It grows amidst unanswered questions. And I'm learning to trust the one who knows the end, even when I can't see the next step. Like a potter shaping clay, you use pressure to form me. Sometimes I'm pressed down, spun around, fired in the kiln, not to destroy me, but to craft a vessel fit for the presence of the King of Glory. Let me not rebel in that process. Let me not flee the pain. Let me not beg to escape the place where you are with me, just because it feels too tight, too dark, too long. I once prayed for you to use me, but I didn't know that meant you'd shape me first. And that shaping, Lord, isn't comfortable. It humbles me. It costs me people. It strips my sense of control. But if it makes me more like you, it's worth it all. You once said, whoever wants to follow me must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. Matthew 16:24. No one told me the cross isn't just pain, it's glory. No one said carrying the cross is a lonely journey, but not a pointless one. Now, I understand to live truly for you. I can't live easily with myself. If outward peace makes me lose my inner voice, stir up every still water. If I've grown used to praise, to recognition, and forgotten I was a sinner saved, prune me. If ease makes me a shallow prayer, take away that ease. So I return to raw faith, where every tear becomes material for a living communion. Lord, I'm not afraid of starting over. I'm only afraid of starting over without you. I'm not afraid of losing. I'm only afraid of holding on to things without your presence. I'm not afraid of being misunderstood. I'm only afraid of misunderstanding your will. So if you're shaking everything, shake to the roots. If you're stripping me, strip to the last layer. If you're pulling me from my comfort zone, pull me out with all your power and love. Though I squirm, hesitate, or resist. What's strangest is that what scares me most isn't darkness, but silence. Not because the outside is chaotic, but because I no longer hear your familiar voice clearly. Your prolonged silence feels like a test, not to break my faith, but to reveal what it's built on. Do I only believe when you give? Do I only pray when it's convenient? Or can I keep seeking you in a soundless desert under the dim bedroom light? I've opened the Bible but couldn't read a verse. My eyes heavy, my heart heavier. My hands no longer lift as they did in my zealous days. My calloused knees now kneel out of habit, not passion. And in those moments, Lord, I see the truth about my heart, that my faith needs cleansing from its gloss, returning to its rawest form, weak, broken, and desperate to be loved again. Give me courage to admit I'm not as strong as others think. I get weary, I doubt, I stray. But amidst it all, don't let me lose hope, though it's only a fragile thread hanging over an abyss. Let me still believe you're the unchanging one. He alone is my rock and my fortress, my refuge. I will not be shaken. Psalm 62:6. May that word be my soul's foundation when everything else trembles. Some say, if God loves, He wouldn't let you hurt. But now, I understand true love isn't always gentle. It burns, like fire refining gold. I no longer pray for an easy path, but for a heart unshaken on a rugged one. For in those twists, you appeared to Moses in a burning bush, to Jacob in a dream, to Jonah in a fish's belly. And you still appear to those who pause, fall, and listen. If my prayer life was once a beautiful garden, now it looks like a field plowed to ruin. But Lord, I'm not afraid of the furrows, for I know no harvest comes from untouched soil. I need you to sow new seed in my brokenness. In the prayers, I no longer know how to pray. In the silences, I mistook for abandonment. Help me see that sometimes. The miracle isn't escaping the storm, but finding peace in its eye. And if tonight nothing changes, if answers don't come, if wounds still bleed, let my heart keep praying, whether through sobs, through sighs, through silence, but a silence that doesn't quit. If you're reshaping me in this nameless night, don't let me fear the roughness of the process. Don't let me long for the old me, the one lenient with myself, who glided past your presence without sensing the holiness there. Make me different, not for others to notice, but for you to see I've grown in the hidden place. Some mornings, I wake with dry eyes, not because tears stopped, but because my heart is weary in silence. No rebellion, but no zeal either. I still read your word. Pray, keep the Christian routine. But like someone guarding a portrait of a once vibrant love. Now, just duty. In those moments, Lord, I start to fear, not pain, but numbness, not falling, but becoming indifferent to your voice. If a relationship loses connection, it's called estrangement. But between you and me, what's worse is when I'm near in form, but my spirit has drifted to some far-off place where I'm so busy with your work, I forget you. Like Martha, I chose busyness and forgot the better part, sitting at your feet, listening. Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better. Luke 10:41-42. So, if you're closing doors, I took pride in, halting plans I built by my ability, making relationships I deemed vital grow distant. Don't let me rush to blame you. Perhaps it's your way of bringing me back to the deep, where it's just me and you, where all noise falls silent so my soul can hear the primal call, come back, Lord, if I once prayed for great faith, I accept now that it won't come through stirring sermons, but through dry days when I learned to live by drops of grace. If I thought a calling was a path strewn with glory, I now understand a calling is a quiet road where I learn to carry my cross without complaint and keep walking even when no one walks with me. Like Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, forgotten in prison, misunderstood by those close. Yet he stayed faithful, knowing what people meant for harm. God could turn to good. Genesis 50:20. Give me that perspective when everything seems to turn against me, when your silence isn't rejection, but sanctification, when loss isn't the end, but a beginning etched in the soil. If there's anything in me not fully surrendered, reveal it, whether a small worry, a hidden sin, or an unnamed fear. I don't want to move forward carrying what you can't bless. I don't want to live in half light, tasting your love with only part of my heart. If I love you, let me love with this trembling soul. If I worship, let it be with my whole being. Not just songs, but the silent pulse of every moment lived. You died publicly for me. Don't let me live my faith in the shadows. If this is the season I'm being forged into a warrior, refine me thoroughly. If this is the time I learn obedience through suffering, don't let me waste a second in this wilderness. As long as you're there, no place is meaningless. I've often wondered, is God silent because I no longer matter? But as that thought rises, I remember Jesus, who loved Lazarus, yet waited 4 days to come to his tomb. He loved, yet delayed. He cared, yet let death happen. And in that delay, he spoke a truth that silenced all fear. I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, though they die. John 11:25. My faith may be dying from waiting too long. My heart may be wilting because your promises remain unfulfilled. But Lord, if waiting is my portion, teach me to wait like a watchman for dawn, not with frustration, not with surrender, not with bitterness, just waiting with eyes fixed on the east, where your light will come, not early, not late, but at your appointed time. Don't let me judge your love by the speed of miracles. Teach me to trust your presence, even when wonders don't happen. Like a farmer sowing this season to reap in another, I want to live by your promise, not fleeting emotions. For your word says, the righteous will live by faith, Hebrews 10:38, not by sight, nor by speculation. Like dry seasons in nature, when trees don't bloom outwardly, but their roots dig deeper. My faith's roots are probing depths no one sees, but you know. And if that hiddenness keeps me standing when the real storm comes, let this season last as long as needed. Don't let me shorten the process just because I'm weary. Don't let me take shortcuts just to reach the end. I don't want to touch your promise my way, for I know, without you in it, even the brightest thing will dry up my soul. Lord, I don't ask for more signs. I ask for more courage. Not fewer hardships, only your presence. Not a smooth path, only steps that don't stray from your will. I know some things are given in silence. Some healings come only after full surrender. If this life is a desert, be my cloud by day and fire by night. If this journey hides tomorrow, let your hand hold me tight enough to keep fear at bay. And if that comfort zone is the trap paralyzing my soul, pull me out by any means, even if I lose everything, as long as I don't lose you. Sometimes I catch myself in a quiet moment on an ordinary afternoon. When the clock ticks, people rush through schedules, but my heart pauses. Not because anything unusual happened, but because the routine is draining my soul. Everything's right, but lacks life. Everything functions, but something sacred and deep has worn away. And in that stillness, I hear a whisper, like a breeze across my heart. You've lost part of yourself on the altar of safety. No one says safety is dangerous, but sometimes the steady and familiar becomes an invisible wall between my soul and God. Songs I once sang with tears are now routine. Scriptures that once set my heart ablaze are now a morning rhythm, and I, once trembling in your presence, now find it normal when you come late or don't answer. Could that be the greatest danger? Not when I hurt, but when I feel nothing, Lord. Forgive me for growing used to living near you without craving you. Forgive me for thinking my religious acts were enough to keep the fire, forgetting that fire comes from communion. If something in me has grown cold, breathe life again. If part of me is turning to stone, break it. And if I've built comfort zones you can't enter, tear them down. As the prophet Ezekiel heard, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. Ezekiel 36:26. I don't want a prayer life of stone, where emotions are sealed, tears suppressed, faith confined by reason. I long for a heart of flesh, soft, sensitive, trembling before your voice. Not outward emotion, but a spirit that quakes when you step in once. I saw a mother beside her comatose daughter's hospital bed. She didn't wail or plead frantically, just laid her hand on her daughter's, whispering words no one heard. When I asked, "What are you saying?" she smiled and said, "I don't need her to answer. I just need her to know I'm here." Lord, if human love is that steadfast, how much more patient is you, the Father of mercy. So let my soul, though comatose in spirit, hear your life-giving whisper. Don't let me merely survive in my spiritual life. I want to live fully, to pray not out of duty, but desire, to sing not to fill church hours, but because I can't stay silent before your holiness, to read scripture not for knowledge, but because each line is honey to my bones. Like the Emmaus disciples whose hearts burned, were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road? Luke 24:32. And if that means losing some familiar people, abandoning dreams I built, leaving positions that made me proud, Lord, do it. For being near you is worth more than silver or gold. Living in your presence outweighs every plan I've cherished. Nothing in that comfort zone compares to one moment in the place you've destined for me. Some days, I don't realize I'm slipping backward because everything around me is calm like a lake. But Lord, my soul is drifting from shore without knowing. No storm is big enough to jolt me. No turn sharp enough to wake me. Just a silent slide where faith doesn't vanish instantly, but erodes like a stone worn by dripping water, and I, amid daily busyness, forgot a sacred call awaits my return. Lord, if my heart has grown used to living without the Spirit's guidance, wake me. If my ears are too loud with human voices to hear your whisper, give me a season of quiet, not to punish, but to soothe my soul. Like Elijah, who found you not in wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. King 19:12. Teach me to find you in the smallest things. At times, I feel like a traveler lost in a familiar city, walking known roads, speaking familiar words, smiling at familiar faces, but feeling alien, as if my life is programmed without a soul. Lord, I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to keep walking if my steps aren't with you. As Moses said, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. Exodus 33:15. I want to pray that too, with all the trembling and conviction in my heart. Don't let me stray into a successful life without you. Don't let me chase dreams without your anointing. Don't let me gain the world but lose my soul. Some successes win human admiration, but leave heaven silent. Some paths the world calls favorable, but you never said, go that way. If I must trade the world to keep communion with you, give me courage to choose the better part. While watching others move forward, I sometimes feel stuck. While hearing their miracle stories, I can only share sighs. But Lord, if that's my portion, the hidden, quiet part without applause, let me stay faithful. For perhaps what you're building in me isn't a dazzling story, but an unshakable foundation. No one needs to know how many nights I prayed. No one needs to see me collapse on the floor when doors closed. Only you need to see. Only heaven needs to record each breath I offer, each tear no one understands, each time I kneel when my knees want to buckle. I believe no tear is wasted, no prayer falls into the void. Father, if in this season you do nothing outwardly, do something within me, whether breaking, pruning, or stripping, as long as it makes me more like you. Don't let me live long in your house, but forget who reigns in the sanctuary. Don't let me know religion, but not you. Don't let me master rituals, but be blind in spirit. If one day everyone leaves, if my position vanishes, if what I deemed glorious fades, let my portion remain you. As long as your merciful eyes see me, even if I lose the world, I have enough. When a door closed, I used to beg you to reopen it, because I couldn't bear rejection. But I've learned some rejections are disguised blessings. Some paths I pleaded to take. You didn't answer. Not because you didn't hear, but because you were saving me from what I wasn't wise enough to refuse. Some jobs I thought were blessings. Some relationships I deemed timely. You gently removed, bit by bit, to show me only what comes from you. With your peace, truly lasts many times. I've pouted in prayer because what I waited for didn't come. Once, I slammed the Bible shut, like a child turning from parents, testing if you'd hold me back. But Lord, you didn't scold or make a fuss. You waited, like the father in the prodigal son parable. standing daily at the village gate, watching for a familiar figure while he was still a long way off. His father saw him and was filled with compassion. Luke 15:20. That breaks me. Not because you rebuke, but because you never stop loving. Forgive me for choosing silence when I should have prayed. Forgive me for turning to social media for comfort instead of kneeling to seek you. Forgive me for thinking you were a part of my life instead of realizing I live because of you, through you, for you. Some things I've misplaced for too long. Sometimes I prayed as if you were a wish granter, not the greatest reward. Sometimes I used faith as a tool, not lived in humble communion. But now, after layers of disappointment, empty hands, tear-soaked nights, I understand you didn't come to fulfill my desires. You came to transform my nature. If your silence is my path to learning obedience, stay silent until my heart truly listens. If delays teach me surrender, delay until I stop clinging to my timeline. And if hurts are the medicine for my pride, use those tears to wash my soul until it's soft again. I don't need every question answered. I only need your presence not to leave me. I don't need every plan restored. I only need you not to walk away while I'm still breaking. Even if nothing changes outwardly, let one thing change within, that my heart returns to its rightful place at your feet, where every dream must bow, every ambition must kneel, every desire must be purified, like the fig tree cursed for bearing no fruit despite its leaves. Mark 11:13-14. I don't want to be someone who appears godly but lacks fruit. I don't want to be a symbol of faith only in words, without true life within. So, if spiritual hunger must linger until I kneel, not from duty, but desperation, let that hunger burn until I crave one thing: you. Sometimes, I think if you spoke clearly, if a voice from heaven confirmed, keep going or stop, everything would be easier. But I've learned faith isn't living by certainty, but by trust. I don't need every signal, every door opened instantly. I only need a quiet word to pull my soul from doubt's abyss. And Lord, in days when nothing moves, let your word be the ground I stand on. If my steps slow, it's not because I don't want to obey, but because I don't want to walk without you. Like the Israelites, who moved only when the cloud or fire led. Exodus 40:36-38. I dare not step alone, even toward what seems good, for there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. Proverbs 14:12. I don't need what's right by human standards. I need what's right in your will. One early morning in a crowded cafe, I saw an old man holding a steaming cup of tea, sitting quietly by the window. His face wasn't sad, nor joyful, just still, as if he had no burdens, as if he sat with someone invisible, yet closer than family. I wondered, is this the true rest you give to those who stay in your presence? No matter life's circumstances, Lord, I don't want to race with the world anymore. If others surpass me, succeed more, shine brighter, let my heart stay at peace. For my portion isn't in worldly measures. My portion is you. And if you're leading me on a longer, lonelier, harder path, as long as you walk beside me, I'll keep going. I'd rather be slow in your guidance than fast in my own will. Sometimes, what I need isn't an outward miracle, but an inward revolution, where a hardened heart softens, a numb soul awakens, and prayer becomes not words, but lifeblood. If prayer was once a schedule, I want it to be the pulse in every cell. If I once prayed only for needs, now I want to pray because I can't live without you. Lord, if today I still have no answers, let me sit here in silence, like a child needing no gifts, only knowing the Father is there. Don't let me use prayer as a transaction, but as a lifeline tying my life to yours. For you are the vine. I am the branch. If I remain in you and you in me, I will bear much fruit. Apart from you, I can do nothing. John 15:5. It's easy to feel abandoned when the heavens are silent, but now I'm starting to see your silence isn't absence. It's an invitation to a deeper place, where I rely not on feelings or signs, but on the single truth that you are faithful. If I can offer you anything precious, it's not time, talent, or wealth, but this undivided heart. And if today I have only one prayer's breath, let it be, stay with me. Lord, don't leave me when I'm not yet strong enough to stand alone. There were seasons I felt adrift on an invisible ocean. No storms, but no shores either. Everything outward was fine, but inside I was a boat without direction. No one noticed, no one asked, because outwardly I smiled, worked, served, but Lord, only you know. I lived many days on memories of past faith, not the fresh flow of daily life. It's not that I stopped loving you, but that I let small things drain my spiritual vitality without realizing. A bit of disappointment, a touch of hurt, a delay without explanation, all like dust, clinging to my spirit until I grew dim, unable to see you clearly. And when I realized I needed cleansing, it was too late to find my way back alone. So I can only say, come and do what only you can. You raised the dead. You opened blind eyes. You healed the lame with a word. So touch this weary heart, not to make it function as before, but to transform it new, like the Samaritan woman at the well, whose life changed with your simple words, John 4:29. I don't need a loud miracle, just a glance that ensures I never live the same. Sometimes, in silence, you redraw the soul's map. When human voices fade, when earthly efforts fail, that's when your voice rings clearest. Lord, if I must lose everything to truly hear you, do it. Silence the noise, quiet the praise and criticism, still the distractions. Let the only sound keeping me be your voice calling my name. If fullness makes me a stranger to heartfelt prayer, let me lack if too much comfort numbs me to your word. Take away what clouds the true light. I don't want to be blessed in human eyes, yet empty in heaven's. I don't want to shine in community, yet be lost in relationship with you. Keep me closer to the cross than the spotlight, closer to warnings than flattery. One day at the market, I saw an elderly woman selling a few vegetable bundles on the ground. The sun blazed, people rushed by, few stopped to buy, yet she smiled, as if nothing shook her. When I asked how she could be so joyful, she said, "Because I still have God. Child, as long as I have Him, I have reason to live. Lord, I want a faith that simple, that deep, a faith needing no proof, a faith big enough to live fully in anonymous days. Give me a heart unafraid of silence, loneliness, or misunderstanding. As long as I hear your voice, don't let me trade your closeness for human approval. Don't let me trade truth for comfort, and don't let me choose safety just to avoid pain. If I must hurt to love you purely, use that pain to etch your name on my heart, like a potter marking the vessel just formed. Sometimes, I can't put into words what's stirring in my soul. There are days my heart is so still, it feels like peace. But it's paralysis, not because everything's fine, but because I've grown used to expecting nothing from you. And that numbness, not anger, not tears, is what I fear most. It proves I've grown accustomed to your absence. Lord, I don't want my heart to get used to your absence. I don't want to learn to live without craving your touch. If I must weep for not seeing you, give me tears. If I must break for you to rebuild, shatter me. Just don't let me stay like this, living, but not truly alive in you. One night, passing a hospital, I saw a man slumped outside the ER, hands cradling his head, the yellow light casting him like a sad statue in the dark. They said he just signed papers for his wife's surgery. No one beside him, no comforting words, no certainty ahead. Yet he sat, waiting, needing nothing but a fragile hope. I looked at him and understood sometimes. Faith is just that, sitting there, not leaving. Because you believe what you love still has a chance. Let my faith be like that, though I sit in life's night, with no results in hand, no proof in my pocket, no one to pat my shoulder. I'll stay, because I believe you're still there. Because even if every other door closes, your door remains cracked open for my soul. The world may call such persistence naive. They may ask, what's faith for? When he stays silent, but I know, as long as you're somewhere in the unseen, no pain of mine is wasted, no night is meaningless, no prayer is thrown into the void. Give me courage to keep praying, not because my prayers work, but because I trust the one I'm praying to. Like Daniel, though decrees banned it, still opening his window toward Jerusalem to pray 3 times a day. Daniel 6:10, not for miracles, but for connection, not for results, but for faithfulness. I want a life like that, faithful in every moment, needing no stage, no wonders to keep my zeal for you. If I must walk a long road with no flowers, no cheers, no signposts, let you be the silent sign my soul knows I'm not lost. If this life makes me a pilgrim, adrift in the world, let my heart stay vibrant from the spiritual root within, planted in the unchanging one. And if I must be misunderstood, unlike anyone, countercultural, as long as I'm on your path, I accept, for in the end, I don't live to impress anyone. I live to not lose you. And if one day I have only one thing left, let it be your presence, sweet, alive, irreplaceable by anything on earth. It's not easy to admit I'm weary in the faith I once cherished. But Lord, there are days I can't recall the last time I trembled in your presence, not because I forgot you, but because I grew too familiar. Familiar until the sacred became routine. Familiar until the divine became functional. And that too familiar eroded the holy awe that once brought me to my knees when you called my name. Let me tremble again, not from fear, but from realizing you are God, and I am dust. Dust. You refuse to discard a frail soul. You insist on calling chosen. If the world forgets me, if my name isn't on any human list, so be it. As long as it's in your book of life. Revelation 3:5. Yesterday, passing a barren lot, I saw a lone weed growing precariously among broken bricks. It wasn't radiant, but it lived. It stretched upward. It stayed green. I thought, if life can rise in desolation, my soul, though cracked, empty, tattered, still has hope. For you made springs flow from rock. You created light with a word. And if you speak once more in my heart, new life will begin. Lord, I don't need an easy life. I need a real one, real with you, real with myself, real enough to say when I'm weak, to not hide when I doubt, to be and ask when I'm hungry, to open my mouth for you to fill when I'm thirsty. Don't let me be someone who prays perfectly, with polished tones, but whose soul died long ago. Restore the simplicity that made me rejoice alone with you. Restore the hunger that made me open Scripture not from duty, but because each verse was honey to my bones. Restore the sensitivity that kept me from stepping forward without the Spirit's confirmation. And if that means shedding familiar layers, do it, gently or fiercely, as long as I end up where you dwell. Someone said God is a refuge for souls with nowhere else to go. But for me, you're not just a refuge, you're home, where I belong, even when I don't feel it. And when all other lights go out, when all glory fades, when all relationships fall away, if there's still a place at your feet, I know I'm not abandoned. I don't pray because I'm good. I pray because I'm a survivor. I've survived faith's erosion, wounds no one knew, failures I'm ashamed of, but I'm still here because you're still there. I still open my mouth because you haven't closed heaven's door. And if every prayer offered today isn't to change circumstances, but to change me, do it, Lord. Don't give me everything I ask, but everything you see I need. If it's silence, give me patience. If it's waiting, give me faithfulness. If it's restraint, give me obedience. And if it's breaking, give me a faith soft enough not to resist your hand. Nothing confounds me more than doing everything right. Attending church, serving, praying, but feeling empty. Not empty from lack of faith, but because what once burned has cooled. I feel like I'm living on echoes of a fire gone out, trying to blow old ashes for a spark of spiritual warmth. But Lord, I don't want to live on fragments of past glory. I need new fire. I need new life. I need you, once more, to breathe vitality into a soul falling asleep. Some nights, I no longer know how to pray. Words, once fluent, now stick dry on my lips. I only sigh or stay silent, but I believe. Lord, you don't need perfect prayers. You need a true heart. You don't demand polished phrases. You wait for me to dare bare myself, even if just with a sob or a glance heavenward. The Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans, Romans 8:26. So if every sigh in me is an unsung hymn, sing it for me. If every silence is a surrender I can't express, receive it as a living offering. And if every crack in my soul whispers, I need healing, touch me gently, as Jesus touched the leper, unafraid, unrepelled, full of compassion. Mark 1:41. One day, passing a shuttered shop at noon, dark inside, only a sliver of sunlight through the door crack lit the space. In that moment, I thought of my soul, like that room, closed, still, dust-covered. But one beam of light changes everything. I realized I don't need the whole sky to shine, just one crack for your light to enter, and the rest, you'll do. Open what's still closed in me. Shine into corners I've hidden too long, unforgiven memories, dreams I thought you forgot, hurts I've concealed behind smiles. If I need to weep, let my tears fall in healing. If I need silence, let it be surrender, not retreat. And if I need to let go, give me courage to say, you are greater than this. Don't let me live in comfort while my soul grows parched. Don't let me maintain a spiritual routine without life within. Don't let me learn religion while losing the one it's about. If needed, stir me. If needed, lead me to the wilderness, not to abandon, but to teach me man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Matthew 4:4. Lord, I don't want to live on beautiful memories of past faith. I want to live by your fresh breath today. If others thought me strong, I confess I'm weak. If they thought me full of faith, I admit some nights I doubt everything I believe. But Lord, I don't ask you to change everything. I only ask you not to change your love for me, for if that love remains, I have a place to begin again. There were times I thought faithfulness meant everything would go smoothly. I believed obedience would bring instant results. But as I grew in faith, I learned sometimes you lead to the desert before the promised land. Some seasons, you stay silent to see if I still crave your voice. And I realized maturity doesn't come when everything's good, but when I keep praying through days when nothing happens. Help me persist even when my prayers are faint whispers. Teach me that miracles aren't always seas parting. Sometimes they're just taking one more step through fog, like the Israelites circling Jericho for 7 days with no brick falling, yet obeying to keep walking. Until the walls fell, Joshua 6:20. I want to circle my life's walls in faith, though I see no change. This morning, seeing an elderly woman guide her grandchild across the street, walking slowly but holding tight, not to control the child, but to keep herself from falling. That image became a spiritual lesson. I thought I was the child needing to be held, but perhaps you let my hand grasp yours, not because you're weak, but to teach me trust, to walk slowly, to know my hand holds the surest thing. Lord, I may not run as in my early days. My zeal may not burn as before, but if I can still hold your hand, still turn to you when my heart wavers, I believe this journey isn't over. Don't let me walk, plan, or pave my way alone. I've done that and hit dead ends. Now, I want to learn again to depend, to wait, to trust though I don't see. You don't need to fix my circumstances instantly, but fix this heart. The heart that rushed, that measured, that conditioned prayers with expectations. Replace it with a heart that loves you for you, not for blessings, solutions, or answers, but because your presence is enough. Sometimes I look at the night sky and whisper, "Are you thinking of me?" Then I recall, can a mother forget the baby at her breast? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:15-16. That doesn't just comfort me, it makes me weep. For you don't just remember my name. You've engraved it, not in ink, but in wounds, not on paper, but on your hands. Let me never forget, you didn't save me for an easy life. You saved me to live close to you. And that's the true reward. If the world offers gold, but trades your intimacy, take it all back. If fame pulls me from prayer, make me unknown. If what I chase veers me from your grace's orbit, slam that door shut. Before I ruin myself, I'm not afraid of starting over. I'm only afraid of starting without you. And if once more, I must learn to say Father, not as ritual, but as a desperate cry of a soul needing your embrace. Let tonight be the night I return. Sometimes I wonder, how do I pray when my heart is dry? Then, one ordinary morning, stepping onto the balcony and seeing a cactus bloom in scorching heat, I understood. Not because it had water, but because it had roots. Not because it lived in ideal conditions, but because it dug deep where no one sees. Lord, teach me to be like that blooming, not by circumstances, but by faithful roots in your word. If I've measured my spiritual life by how many miracles happen, change my standard within. For you never promised to solve every problem instantly, but you said my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness, 2 Corinthians 12:9. So I'll learn to thank you in weakness. Thank you for the chance to experience strength not mine. Thank you that in breaking, I meet a God who not only gives victory, but walks through every defeat. One day, passing a construction site, I saw a wall being demolished. Bricks shattered, dust flew, hammers roared. I shuddered at the chaos, but a worker smiled, saying to a passerby, "We have to tear this down to build something better." My heart stilled. for I know you're doing that in me. Some things, though beautiful ones, don't fit the new season. And to step into what lasts, you must let me witness the collapse of what I leaned on. Lord, if something in me needs tearing down, demolish it with mercy. Don't let me cling to old bricks of pride, fear, or false expectations that block the spiritual architecture you're designing. I don't want to be busy building without your blueprint. I don't want to work hard, but aim wrong. Give me grace to stop, to let you break what needs breaking, and courage to embrace something entirely new. Nothing's harder than letting go, but nothing's freer than letting go at the right time. If what I cling to pulls me from you, though once good, help me place it on the altar, like Abraham, ready to offer Isaac, the son he waited a lifetime for. I want to learn not to let your gifts replace you in my heart. You said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Luke 9:23. Let me not hear that as a slogan, but live it as a direction. For I may have believed without denying, followed without forsaking. If today is the day you draw the line between believing you as a value system and following you as a sacrificial life, don't let me hesitate. Even if I walk through days others don't understand, don't join, don't approve. As long as I'm on your path, give me strength not to turn back. Though I lose friends, position, opportunities, or my own comfort, as long as I keep unity with you, I know I'm not empty-handed. Don't let me sit in your house while my heart wanders. Don't let my lips sing hymns while my soul plans its own way. Don't let me grow so familiar with your house I lose awe. If you must renew me with unexpected shakings, do it. If you must pull me from my comfort zone to know what true faith is, pull me, I'll bear it. Like someone sitting silently in darkness, waiting for light with no promised arrival, I wait for you, not by clock, but by faith. For some things can't be rushed. Some miracles come only when I learn to sit still. And some lessons can't be shortened, for waiting reveals the heart's truth. Don't let my impatience make me miss what's precious, gained only through endurance. If I've lived in the realm of reason's authority, teach me to step back and hear the Spirit's gentle voice. Not everything logical is from you, and not everything illogical is wrong. For sometimes, in the absurd, you reveal wisdom beyond understanding. Like when Jesus spat, mixed mud, and smeared it on a blind man's eyes, John 9:6-7. Who could have guessed a strange act was the prelude to sight, Lord? If what you want to do in me requires silence, stripping old structures, or seeing myself with nothing left to hold, keep doing it. Though I'm afraid, for my fear isn't greater than the truth I was made to belong to you, not to be safe. If safety pulls me from your will, though it looks good, shatter it at a stoplight recently. I saw a little girl clinging to her mother's neck on a motorbike. She didn't need to know if her mom would turn left or right, or how long the ride would be. She just held tight and trusted. That image unsettled me, for I've analyzed too much, questioned too much, doubted too much. But true faith doesn't always need to know everything. It needs a heart that holds tight, trusts, and rests on an uncertain journey. Teach me to live simply like that child. To know a hand is steering, a love is protecting, a destination awaits, though the turns are foggy. Teach me to trust, not because you always explain, but because you're faithful. Teach me to love, not because I understand all, but because you're worthy of all my love. Though my heart breaks, wavers, or doubts, if something in me still tries to control, squirms, or calculates in a spiritual realm I thought surrendered, reveal it. Not to cast me out, but to save me from myself. For my greatest enemy isn't circumstances or others, but an ego cloaked in spirituality, yet unyielding. Strip away the disguises I've worn too long, prayers sounding fervent, but laced with calculation. Decisions labeled God's will, but rooted in fear. Half-hearted obedience. Following you while glancing back at Egypt. If my feet have left, but my heart misses the old tent, pull my whole self from that familiar place. Don't let me die in my comfort zone. Don't let me wither in stability. Don't let me slide into religious veneer while losing true life from you. If a moment of my life doesn't tremble with your presence, I don't need another day like it. Let fear of you be my joy. Let awe of you be my rest each morning. As dawn's light slips through the curtains, I wonder, does God have something to say to me today? For some mornings, prayer comes not from emotion, but resolve. Not feelings lead, but your silent love lifts me, draws me from a warm bed to kneel in the familiar corner where the quietest spiritual battles rage daily. The world may never grasp the value of a moment in your presence, but I do. I've known mornings I rushed from home without a prayer, and I know that feeling a day passing as if my soul lacked oxygen. Everything functions, but my heart is dry, reactions sharp, mind unsteady. Without your presence, every success tastes bland. Lord, don't let me live by inertia. If I do anything in your name, let it be because I've been with you first. Like Moses, emerging from the wilderness, glowing from speaking with you at the burning bush. I want to reflect you, not just represent a belief system. I don't want to be an echo. I want to be a true voice. Once, at a bus stop, I saw a child asleep on her mother's shoulder, though the bus was late. The noise loud, the surroundings restless. She slept soundly, not relying on circumstances, but on the one holding her. Lord, I want a faith like that, a rest not from my environment, but from the one holding me tight. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone. Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. Help me release the need to control. Release even what I thought was for you but was my arrangement. Release even good dreams that took your place in my heart. If you're truly king of my life, don't hesitate to dethrone any idol I unwittingly protect. Whether a dream, relationship, position, or safety I built under the guise of blessing. Reading Job's story again, stripped of wealth, children, health, and friends' respect, I froze at his words, Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. 13:15. I've never prayed like that, never dared say it sincerely, but today I want to learn. I want to be closer to you than promises, interventions, or miracles. I want you, you alone. If everything collapses, if the world turns away, if no applause remains, as long as my eyes stay fixed on you, I've lost nothing. For your presence is irreplaceable, non-negotiable, never on hold. I don't want to trade you for convenience, not trade you for acceptance, not use you as a means to something else. For you are the destination. So if my prayers aren't answered as I hope, let me not lose heart. If your silence lingers, let my heart stay. If in passionless days I still kneel in the secret place, I know I'm growing, not in others' eyes, but in heaven's. I don't want my faith to shine only in revival, but to endure in darkness. As my heart slows amid life's whirl, I see some movements happen only in the unseen, where others don't see. But you see every tremor of faith growing silently, and if all I've whispered, all the tears falling quietly on a hidden floor, all the prayers no one hears, don't shift circumstances, let them shift me. For perhaps the miracle you're working isn't outward, but sprouting silently in my soul's soil, no thunder needed, no doors opening at once, no cross-shaped cloud in a blue sky to prove you're listening. For even if no sign shows the heavens changing hue, I'll stay here in this secret place, at your feet, and keep saying, Lord, I'm still here. Though my heart wavers, my faith anchors in the unchanging one, like a potter, never taking eyes off the clay. I believe. You never look away from my life, though I feel spun on a wheel of pain, disappointment, or silence. A loving hand keeps me centered, not to unsteady me, but to shape me, not to confuse me, but to form me for an eternal purpose. Lord, if this journey is your chosen path to call me from my comfort zone, I won't turn back. If all this shaking, tearing, loneliness, emptiness is to step beyond religion and touch your heart more truly, I accept. For what's more meaningful than being fully known by you and still loved, still held, still called child? If these silent prayers are steps drawing me closer to you, let them not end in fleeting emotion, but in a sacred commitment that my life, from now on, won't live to avoid unease, but to pursue your presence, not to seek comfort, but to seek you, not to please others, but to please you, who sees in secret and rewards in light. And if tomorrow isn't brighter, I'll still offer that prayer, for I know you don't need my circumstances to change to be present. You need my heart open to let you in. And as long as one breath in me turns to you, I'll keep saying, your will be done, though mine may break. If the life of faith is a long symphony, I don't want the final note to be a faint hum. I want it to be a swelling chord of courage and love, like thunder on Golgotha, like the crucified one's final words, it is finished. Not the end of pain, but the opening of victory. And if my soul is a field, Lord, Don't let it be covered in fake flowers. I don't need outward splendor. I need inward blooming, though slow, though silent. If you need winter to draw life back to the roots, to sink deep before spring, I'll wait. Not for spring, but because waiting renews my heart. No one knows where the wind comes from or goes, but I know those led by the Spirit are like it, John 3:8. So if I can't measure my path by success, stability, or praise, it's okay. One thing matters, that you're still blowing. And if your breath still moves me, I'll keep going. Though no trail lies ahead, I don't ask you to make my life dazzling. I only ask, let every step I take follow your footprints. Let every word I speak carry your life behind it. Let every day I live see part of me die. So, you live fully in that part. My name need not be spoken in this world, as long as it's called in eternity. And if someone, somewhere, sits amid the ruins of what was once solid, facing an unnamed emptiness, let this final prayer be a key, Lord. I don't need to know what tomorrow holds. I only need to know you're still the God of today. Amen and amen.